6th of September 2016 here at RobSpeed Motorcycles in Cleethorpes, #1 on two wheels, the area's largest Kawasaki dealer. We're here with Craig Neve from Craig Neve Racing. Craig recently back from around a BSB at Cadwell Park on the bank holiday weekend, riding this. Do you want to talk us through it, Craig? What is it?
Yeah, this is our super stock bike. As rid at the Northwest and at the TT in the super stock and superbike classes. And of last weekend riding at Cadwell BSB. Yeah, like I say, it's very, very similar to the bike on the right-hand side of it. And all it really has had changed is the body kit off, maxing suspension, silk-clean oil, and a different set of tyres. I mean, that is it, and that's how close it is to the road-going bike.
So I don't know if we'll get a close-up of these tyres at some point. They're absolutely, you take these tyres off the edge of the tyres right over. You can see this is like chewing gum. It's actually like chewing gum. These tyres are a slightly different compound to the road tyres on the road-going 2016 Kawasaki ZX-10R. The difference between the two tyres, this is the next level. This is where you're chasing tenths of a second. These are the adjustments that you're making. As we spoke about before, the tyres, the suspension. How much difference do these tyres make on the track?
Yeah, if you're comparing it to the road tyres, then quite a bit. Obviously they're quite a lot softer for a lot more edge grip, and you're pretty much putting them on for one session. It seems like a little bit of a waste to me, but your competitors are changing tyres every session, so you've got to do the same because you can't afford to give any more away. But yeah, they're a great tyre, and then you'll sell them on to track day lads, I don't know, for £100 or something like that, and you get a little bit more money back in the pot for the next meeting.
So we are basically home. This is your base, RobSpeed Motorcycles in Cleethorpes. Well, it's debatable, Grimsby or Cleethorpes. I think one side of the road is Grimsby, one side of the road is Cleethorpes. So RobSpeed have been very, very generous this last few years with Craig Neve Racing, down to sets of tyres, bike support, mechanical support, garage support. How difficult would it be without them?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at all the sponsors, it's a lot of pieces of the puzzle to put together to actually get us out there on the track. And, if for example, one sponsor pulled out that I've had this year, then it would make next year a lot more difficult. But as of the last couple of years, Rob Stewart's come on board and he's really helped us out. We get all our Kawasaki parts through them now. They do us a real good racing discount. Both of these bikes have come through there, as well as a lot of parts, and we're also going to Kawasaki for my 600 Super Sport bike next year for the TT in the Northwest, and we're going to obviously get it through RobSpeed, and they're doing us a real good deal on bikes and parts.
So we've got the three bikes in front of us. We've got the standard road 2016 Kawasaki ZX-10R. This is the super stock. Can you explain what the super stock actually means? And we've also got the super bike right out there in front. So if you just talk us through the super stock.
Yeah, as we've sort of touched on already, it's very, very similar to the bike to the right of it. Suspension by Maxton. There's nothing, I don't really think wrong with the standard shower stuff that comes in the road bike. It's just I work closely with Maxton on the roads, on the circuits, and they give me quite a lot of rider support. So that's important when it comes to setting the bike up. Other than that, rear sets. They're, because of the standard road quick shifter, you need to run an aftermarket rear sets to enable to run race shift instead of road shift, which I run. Some riders do run road shift, so it wouldn't be a problem. But other than that, that's about it. Whereas if we go to the superbike, that's got a carbon fibre body kit on, as you can see. It's more of I'd say a hybrid, maybe. It's not quite a superbike, but it is obviously not legal for the super stock class. Double bubble screen, and you can make changes to the geometry, as in stiffening the chassis and altering the steering angle.
Isle of Man TT 2016, Craig, was done on this bike here. Yeah, so some modifications to be made for a bike for the TT. For those that don't know, the TT course is 37 3/4 miles long. You're hanging on to an absolute hand grenade all the way around. a big help from Richard Bearcroft from RB Engineering with the tuning. I mean, that guy, what he doesn't know isn't worth knowing. Absolutely fantastic.
First of all, Richard, RB Engineering, he's going to be building our motors next year, so they're going to be a lot more competitive than there was this year, as everything has been. We've sort of gone for reliability, as I need to do a lot of work in learning the TT circuit. But for next year, I think we should be a lot better prepared for the job. But yeah, as of riding the circuit, I started off in practice week riding the 650 and riding my 600, and I was, sort of trying to ease myself back into it, as I'm very, very far away from actually knowing the circuit inside out. So, but yeah, as the week was going on, we thought, right, I'm going to have to ride the big bike. Now it was kind of like that, and I was thinking, this thing's going to be an absolute handful. And after doing the first lap on it, I was thinking, we've got to put this thing back in the van. I just, it's so difficult to hold on to, and everything's happening so fast, and it's hard to describe how fast the lampposts and the trees and the walls are actually flying by. But lap 2, lap 3 on it, and I was thinking, yeah, this is all right. This is actually easier to ride than the Super Sport bike when I actually got relaxed and more. I think because we was blessed with the good weather, the track was coming to me a bit more. And as the week went on, I was riding this bike more and more, and then it was actually harder for me to get off the big bike and get back on the Super Sport bike, because I wanted to ride the big bike more. But we started off doing something like 110 mile an hour on the big bike, and then by the end of the week we did a 125 in the Super Stock race, and I thoroughly enjoyed that race. And when you're actually on the track and you can see riders who've set off in front of you coming back to you, you think this is mint. And as the sort of race went on, it's sort of breathtaking. You think this is the absolute best track in the world, and it's difficult to get a buzz like it when you actually do go to Cadwell Park or Alton Park, But yeah, as in prepping the bike, a lot of hours in prepping this thing, and it has got to be a touch different to the short circuit prep. Pretty much every nut and bolt has to be lock wired. That was the main thing. Obviously you don't want anything flying out loose when you're doing them sort of speeds on the roads, as you don't on the short circuits, I suppose.
Now, you talked about your average lap on the TT. That's your average speed all the way around. For people that don't know, that's not your top speed. That's your average speed. I think Bruce Anstey came through the speed trap. Was it 209 mile an hour or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I think it was something like that. We was quite happy. I mean, obviously I don't see the time schemes as I'm going down, but I got a lot of texts after the Superbike race saying, "Blimey, your bike was." Something, well, it was the fastest Kawasaki through the speed trap. It's 185 mile an hour at Sulby Speed Trap. This little baby here, and that's the engine that's in that bike that can be bought by anybody. And and all we've done is a little bit of fueling work in an end can. So yeah, very surprising and impressive from Kawasaki, I suppose.
So on public roads, the sun's going down, you're having to deal with lots of different things. When you turn up at a circuit, your race, is at 1 o'clock, and it will either rain or it won't rain, and you pretty much know the circuit. Now, practice week on the Isle of Man TT is done when the roads are closed on an evening, so the shadows are long, the sun's going down. You've just said 185 miles an hour with your head stuck under here, tucked in. We'll come to that in a minute because I'm going to ask you something about that. I'll ask you now. This double bubble screen. This is for a TT based screen. Now, if you look at the standard road bike, you'll see the screen on the standard road bike is more sort of BSB-esque, slightly more streamlined. So the air goes over the rider. With this, you've literally got to protect yourself for the duration of the race. I mean, how long are you on the bike for? And is this screen designed to the shape of your odd-shaped head?
No, it's not actually. I don't think they could design a screen for this kind of head. But yeah, that's I bought from Skid Marks, and that's the kind of screen that they're producing at the minute. As there isn't a lot of stuff available for this bike as of yet, but that was fine for me. I could get tucked in there, and I don't know if those who saw the 15 screen, it was like a surfing board, but this is a lot better design. And it does put the air straight over my head and over my back. But yeah, I mean, it's good. You sort of get tucked in. You can really feel the difference as not having it there, So yeah.
So we can see some of this onboard live footage on YouTube. So it's Craig, I spelled Craig, Neve, Neve. Now there's been a bit of, why so many Neves in every, there's Neves. So Neve, Craig Neve, and Craig Neve Racing. Website, Twitter?
We're on CraigNeveRacing.com, that's the website, and Twitter, Craig Neve 4, and Facebook page, Craig Neve 4.
So we've looked at this beast that's been round the Isle of Man TT circuit. It's also been round the Northwest 200 up in Portrush in Northern Ireland. What a beautiful place that is. How did the Northwest 200, which is before, that's like the warm-up for the TT, isn't it? How did that pan out for you?
Well, a bit up and down really. I was really looking forward to going back there because it's probably known as on the roads as one of the easier tracks to learn, with it being a glorified triangle, I suppose. But obviously you've got to work hard your braking markers into the chicanes, because that's where most of your time, because anyone can keep it flat for X amount of time, but it's working on your braking and going from them high speeds into almost like a 20-30 mile an hour chicane, rolling through it and then back on the throttle. But yeah, it went all right. We was improving again on our times through practice week. I was riding this bike and my CBR 600. And yeah, we thought it was in. I did really want to get to sort of be on the back of the first wave. That was my plan. Just sort of get in with them lads and just hang on the back of them. Unfortunately, I was just short of it. I was on the first row of the second wave, but that was what we had to deal with. So yeah, we got away in the 600 race on the Thursday. We have a Thursday race day and a Saturday race day. On the Thursday race day, was going all right in the 600. Was in the top 15 somewhere, and coming off Ballysally roundabout, the bike was just gutless. So that I had to pull to the side, watch the rest of the race from the side of the road. It was only on lap 2, and yeah, that was that. And the super stock race was cancelled, so they was going to, because of the low sun, I think, and they was going to run that on Saturday. So I sort of always see the 600 as my best chance for a result, because I've ridden Super Sport for so long, and it's a bike I do feel comfortable with on the little Honda. So I was a little bit worried, because that was our motor gone, finished. So we was kind of having to put the 600 away, and luckily a nice Irish chap had seen we was on hard times, and he come along and offered his road bike that he'd actually rode to the track on to watch that day's racing. So I kind of couldn't believe that. Touching really. So yeah, so basically we've got the motor out of his road bike, we've got it back in my race bike, took it back down to the dyno, sorted the fueling out, and I think we had about 113 horsepower or something like that, but we won't bother, because we wanted the laps and we wanted to ride. So yeah, God bless to that guy really, and he's helped us out there, and we, I think we got ourselves in the top 15 somewhere, which we didn't embarrass ourselves on a bike that was very, very slow, considering some of the boys got 140 horsepower.
What's your focus and your main sort of drive, just to say nuts to it, we're just going to get back on it and just do our best, which is what you've always done? Yeah,
well, we're still pretty hungry for it. It's me and my dad and Rob Creasy, who's been coming with us quite a lot this year to help out, and it's quite a small run team, so there's a lot of time and money and effort from everybody going in, and for us to sort of say, well, that's enough, I want to win the Northwest one day and I need the extra laps, so I had to get on the bike as it was and sort of embrace it really and get the extra laps in, get stuck in and just do what we could do.
I think the wheels, were they still round when your dad was, they just switched over to, I say Fred Flintstone wheels. He's the amount of time and effort that guy, your family, just to make this clear, the family has put the life on, not just on hold, on stop. And as everybody involved, everybody has just sacrificed everything to get where the team is now, and it is a team effort, and that's one thing that does come across. There's no diva, there's no prima donna, there's no me. You met the T, your dad met the T, Rob Creasy met the T. It is a very special team, and I mean, your dad obviously deserves a massive thank you for all the effort he's put in. He's getting the hang of it.
Yeah, he's getting there now. But yeah, like you say, it's a massive effort, and I'm very thankful for for my family. I went on a family holiday since I was a schoolboy, I think, because we've sort of put everything into this, and it don't get any easier, does it? As you get further up the ladder, it becomes more expensive, and things that you just got to keep going. Hopefully you can get a result, and hopefully it can sort itself out. But massively thankful for everyone that's involved, especially all the local Grimsby companies who chuck a bit our way just to keep us going.
So we'd like to send this child to Florida next year. Only joking. That'll do. Right, we're going to have a look at the Superbike next.